Let me reintroduce you to my panel this morning. I'm delighted to be joined by broadcaster, lawyer and futurist Andrew Eborn and the former editor of Labelist Peter Edwards. Right, we've got to talk about Prince Harry.
It's quite extraordinary, and I'll tell you what...
It is, but do you know what?
Yeah.
Family arguments.
Oh, we have family arguments all the time.
They get like that.
What I think is fascinating, this story broke this morning, and the great GB News viewers have spoken about nothing else. And what's really interesting...
How do you know that?
Well, no, because I spoke to our social media guys and girls, and this is what they said. And people are... And the interesting pattern is everybody but everybody is speaking against Harry. There's not yet been anybody. And I always try, as you know, to put a bit of balance. The other big revelation which has come out is about the Nazi uniform. And you might remember, breaking news if you haven't heard it, because it's just in the last few minutes, is that the famous 2005 party that Harry went to, and he wore, or chose to wear, a Nazi uniform. What has come out today, in the last few minutes, is that he spoke to William about the choice of outfit. And he had I think there was a uniform, just a traditional military uniform or whatever, or he could have worn this Nazi thing. And apparently he was encouraged by William and Kate to wear this Nazi uniform. So all of a sudden, and you say that they're not briefing, I can guarantee there were big revelations about the Netflix series, if people didn't already know, they have their own PR machines. And they basically brief against each other. That's what Harry's saying. My objection to this is it needs to be balanced. You need, as a lawyer, you need to turn around and hear both sides.
You know what? William is not going to respond, is he? I mean, he has to. I mean, if he starts to lay the Nazi
but maybe indirectly.
His speech, then he might have to. But just really sad. None of us want this. But what else have they got? Just keep criticising the family, and then what? I sort of read it. I thought, God, don't blame Prince William for taking a slug at him. I'm not endorsing violence, but you know what I mean. I can imagine how enraged they would be with the behaviour. Right, my panel are back with me. I'm joined by broadcaster, lawyer and futurist Andrew Eborn and former editor of Labelist Peter Edwards. Both of you complimented me on my green dress.
Oh, we love it. We love it.
Thank you. I bought this in Tesco's last night.
Hey, I hope you're on commission, because everybody's going to be flooding into the stores.
I went in to buy some food and I came out with a dress. I thought it would look good with your eyes, Peter, and it does. Right, now, what is going on with the Sussexes and the Mandelas?
Well, I'll tell you what's going on. Behind the scenes, with the launch of the book on the 10th of January, Spare Us All, and the Netflix stories, and more revelations every day. What's going on is the media are being fed all sorts of stories. And the best way, it was P.T. Barnum who said the best way of drawing an audience is to start a fight. So, surprise, surprise.
Circus man Barnum.
I thought, great circus man Barnum. Great way of doing it. You get an icon in history like Mandela. So what you can do, he's obviously not with us anymore, but the granddaughter all of a sudden has come out of the woodwork and said that they've been using the Mandela name to cash in on my grandfather. It's totally unfair. They said it's deeply upsetting and tedious. And they're talking about it's a documentary series is what it is. And actually Archwell Productions, one of the co-producers in it, are basically doing about Mandela and so on and so forth. She was basically, the granddaughter was saying they probably only met them when they were really little. Harry, when he was really little, he would never remember. But apparently at his home, he has a picture of Diana and Mandela, and he's very proud of it.
Well, I just said this is going to be the greatest act of reinvention.
It is interesting. I mean, it's interesting about the political thing, because I predicted on this very table in November 2021, when I was originally on the channel in the early days, and that Meghan Markle absolutely was on a PR campaign.
That's because you're a futurist.
A futurist, you don't. I knew you were going to say that. It's got to be good. But absolutely, and I think she would be an ideal candidate. There's support behind that. We don't get it in the UK, and I spoke in the last bit about the social media and what's happening here. Everybody is against Harry at the moment. I can tell you there will be more revelations as the books come out and talking about bullying and the necklace. And the only necklace that we can find online was actually the one given to him by Chelsea years ago. If you
by his ex-girlfriend?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I don't think he was still wearing the necklace given by his ex-girlfriend. Meghan Markle would not have been happy about that.
And it was basically a necklace of love, is what it was.
Oh, he definitely wasn't wearing that.
But it is interesting, and that's what's going to dominate the stories. It was the most popular story on Netflix, Beat the Crown. And however much we criticise, it's what I said before, P.T. Barnum, that's it. You want to draw a crowd, start that fight. And that fight is certainly happening.
I wonder when they'll become irrelevant, Peter.
I also think,
stay together.
Oh, that's an interesting one. They love it.
I just think about how stressful that must be, living in that house.
It's incredibly stressful. And I always think... And
listen, not stressful. They're living in a Montecito mansion. Like, when I say stressful, I mean, it's all relative, right? But I'm just talking about their dynamic, because it's a sort of... could be a bonfire of the vanities. There's a lot of ego in both of them.
It's a terrible thing. And as I say, I'm probably one of the few people who say something positive about them. So I think it's important to say something positive. And what they have done for mental health, for example, has been great. What Harry did for the Invictus Games...
It was amazing.
Was absolutely amazing. So we should remember those good things. And just imagine for a moment that if what he's saying is true, because a lot of people are approaching all of these stories on the basis that we've got our own prejudices and therefore whatever comes out of Meghan's mouth, we're going to disagree. You know there are ongoing disputes with the various press, and they've won all their cases so far. There are going to be more cases this year.
Yeah.
They're being encouraged to settle the current one, and we're talking about that on a regular basis. So I think there is the good side, and the good side is people in the public eye who can use their status for raising awareness about things like mental health and a genuine issue. I want us to be the generation that speaks about mental health so that the next generation doesn't suffer the stigma. And I think those in the public eye who can use that for good should be encouraged.
OK.